Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Words About Books. This is part 2 of our discussion of Star Wars Thrawn Ascendency Chaos Rising by Timothy Zahn. If you have not listened to part 1, we're going to jump right in the middle of the conversation with part 2, so it won't make any sense, and I highly encourage you to listen to part 1. But, just in case you don't, a brief recap. Thrawn, this takes place before the Thrawn stuff we've ever seen. He's still in the Chiss Ascendancy. This is how his career came to be. He has a few friends. He has Aralani, so she's looking out for him. He has Thalia, who used to be a Skywalker, and if you don't know what a Skywalker is, you should go listen to part 1. And anyway, now she's taking care of Cheery, who is the current Skywalker. And Thrawn is navigating some strange threat that's come upon the Chiss Ascendancy. I'm trying to remember this. This is actually several weeks after we've recorded now, and I did not look anything up again, and I'm realizing that now. But, let me see. What do they do? Okay, there's a threat, right? Anyway, there's a guy named Yiv the Benevolent who's outside of the Chiss Empire, and he's like conquering everything outside of the Chiss Empire. And he's going to become a threat to the Chiss Empire, but none of the Chiss believe that because they spend a lot on their military, but also they don't like to fight anyone. Anyway, Thrawn just figured out it is in fact Yiv the Benevolent who's the guy behind all this, and now we're going to see what he does with that information if he tries to find Yiv's sketchbook and look at his plans. Weirdly enough, the art thing doesn't play a major role in this, but it's always there and always talked about. So look forward to that.
So anyway, we need a navigator. So we're going to go get Keylori. He owes me a favor. We're friends from way back. So, Keylori, you're going to navigate our ship into a system. And Keylori is like, oh, shit! Yiv is blockading that system, but I'm not supposed to know that. Guess I'll die. And he flies him in, and then he's quickly trying to, punch in, use the console to, send a message out, please, there's a navigator on board, please do not murder us, or if you do, get me out first, then you can keep killing him. But to his surprise, and I kind of assumed Thrawn wanted this, because Thrawn clearly knows that Keylori is a shifty fuck. So
yeah,
he's like, okay, we're going to, instead of being killed, we're going to capture a ship instead. Changing plans, we're not going to die. Checkmate. I can't remember how he did it. I think he fires... Does he shoot a shuttle at them?
He shoots a shuttle, and then he does something with a tractor beam, and...
Oh yeah, he fires a shuttle towards Rapak. 2 of the 3 ships coming after them break off to get rid of the shuttle. The Springhawk flies away, and then... he does some hijinks, and he cripples it. And everyone on board then commits seppuku. But he takes that ship. He flies away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that was pretty solid. And then after the end of the chapter...
You'd think they'd have a self-destruct something.
That would be a lot better than what they had, which was cyanide.
They could just fly their ship into his ship.
Yeah, can you... If the tractor beam has you, can you just accelerate?
Go faster? Yeah.
See if you can take me, fucker.
Yeah. I don't know. Isn't that their main tactic in one of the movies?
Yeah, that one doesn't count. I remember
Straight up shoots a light
Yeah, I
speed through
remember
somebody.
some bullshit where some guy reviewing the movie was like, "You all just assumed you knew how hyperspace worked." Motherfucker, the movie before that, they fly through a shield using hyperspace. They teleport from one end of the shield to the other. That's how it works. If you fly through hyperspace, you wouldn't crash into every ship.
So this actually brings up an interesting point.
Why didn't every ship in that movie do that?
Well, yeah, that's a thing, but we all like the dog fights,
Yeah,
right?
they're cool. We
We
all
like,
know they're
yeah,
stupid, but they're fun.
right. And it doesn't make any sense to have a dogfight in space. These are not aircraft carriers. It's a totally different. They fly in 3 dimensions. It's a totally different thing. But also, the distances we're talking about make these small fighter
Ridiculous.
craft
Yeah.
kind of stupid. Yeah. So, but we don't care because it looks cool, and nobody would have cared about that one because if it looked cool, and that's kind of the thing I'm getting at with like the ship to ship combat in the books. I like it. I think it was just enough in this book, bordering on too much. Like the maneuver where Thrawn makes his ship disappear, which is mentioned like easily 3 times, I think. I have no idea what the hell he's doing. I gather he's hiding in the shadow of another ship or whatever.
Yeah.
But that I'm sure that looks more impressive than it sounds. Like I'm sure it seems to me like the people who like, oh, I learned how to balance a dollar bill on my nose, and it's like I'm sure that was hard to learn.
And now turn that into a military exercise, please.
Yeah, now can we monetize that? Like what's the end game with it? I don't know.
Well, you're going to look like a fool when you look at the news next week and they're like, India and Pakistan agreed to a ceasefire when guy who balanced a dollar bill on his head was parachuted in. Legend has it he kept the dollar on his head the entire way down. I'm not even sure how that happened.
I guess the point is you're never going to like win me. You're never going to convince me that the person is a brilliant genius because they did something I struggle to picture with imaginary spaceships. I don't know. That's kind of my thing. Like I much more enjoyed Thrawn having to navigate the politics and having to figure out who like the spy is and doing the detective thing.
Well, you don't like the thing that Thrawn has to fight against in The Last Command, the A-Wing slice, where A-Wings go really fast and then they suddenly break off and there are X-Wings right behind them. They fire torpedoes, Ben.
Isn't that kind of the same thing we're doing again? Actually, now that you mention it, ships hiding behind ships,
and then
and it's like really hard to do though because it's really hard to exactly match another ship's thing.
and Admiral Pelion does the same thing in the duology, Ben.
Yeah, it's getting less impressive now.
Well, he uses that to figure out that Garmbel Daddy is not the guy he's fighting, but they're in fact imposters. Because otherwise he would be able to see his own tactic and defend against it. Am I right? Yeah, I am. But Thrawn has a shuttle, Ben, and a bunch of bodies that he needs to clear out of it. It's like, ew, gross. Like, get out of here. And meanwhile, Key Lori is like, shit. And goes all the way to Yiv the Benevolent and is like, Thrawn did it. And Yiv is like, okay, that doesn't really help me.
Does Thrawn have a last name?
Or a first name? Like, I know his core name is just an amalgamation of 3 different names. That doesn't help me at all. Look, I don't want to be racist here, but they all look the same to me. So I need you. I need you to get me his first and last and also middle name. Or I will benevolently...
Social security number if you can grab
you go.
It.
Or I will benevolently put my boot on your neck and just press down.
The Benevolator.
The Benevolator.
He also has 2 like flappy symbiotic fungi that look like a cape sometimes. I don't know why you didn't mention that.
Who, Yiv?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, sometimes they like feed him or something. It's crazy.
I was more focused on his voice.
Oh, I didn't hear his
Yeah.
voice because
Yeah, no, he's got an interesting voice. Very.
can you do it?
No, because I'm afraid that it might come off as racist. So,
Are you afraid? Now, what species was he again?
he's Nick Cardoon, Ben.
Yeah. Okay.
Hold on.
The species that just sounds like a slur.
Hold on. Let me.
Hold your phone up to the mic.
Okay, he sounds. The accent isn't as thick, but he sounds like Barbados Slim from Futurama, Ben. That's the vibe I got listening to him.
Hermes Conrad, is that you inside that dumpy little fat man?
Barbados Slim? What are you doing here? Last time I heard you were in Barbados.
All right, so and Keylori has cheek winglets. I remember that because he mentions them all the time. I guess it's like a tail, like it flaps back and forth when he's excited, except they're on his.
I feel like I can picture this Star Wars alien. I feel like there's a couple of these in the movies. I could be wrong.
So in the past, and I can just kind of amalgamate all of this together, but
yeah,
there's
please
the
do.
Leo EOI. Yes.
Oh my god. Yeah, how do they say that?
Leo EOI.
Leo EOI.
Yeah. I looked at how they spelled it and I was like, I would have never gotten that.
No, I was like Leoi.
Yeah, the Leo EOI.
E-I-E-I-O.
The Leo EOI. What the hell is wrong with Timothy Zahn? Spouth.
Mouth.
McKeevge. Lily.
You wanted aliens, you got aliens, okay?
What's the theory of language here? What
over time languages get more ridiculous to keep up with the fact they need to name more shit.
Have you ever heard Old English? Come on.
Yes.
Tuesday? No, it's Tuesday.
Counterpoint, Rackus.
Language simplifies over time. It gets shorter. It gets cooler. It's hip. Slang.
So, yeah, the Leo EOI, in the past, they are funding pirates to raid the Chiss space, and Thrawn manages to pick up on this because he sees subtle similarities in their ships, and he goes to the military commander, and they're like, okay, I don't think we can start a war with another sentient species over you thought their art looked kind of similar, maybe?
No, I thought their ships looked kind of similar.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah, I'm not going to do anything about that unless you have 100% proof. And so Thrawn...
I have 100% proof.
Yeah.
You may not see it.
He does. He baits an attack, and he basically he gets carte blanche to go off on his little war. Right? Hey, we were attacked first. I just happened to provoke an attack.
No one in the history of civilization has ever done that.
No, not at all.
Never. I can't think of once.
Yeah. So Thrawn is actually the best politician. Because he's doing shit that they ain't ever heard of.
He's discovered you can make money on war.
He's discovered preemptive strike. He unlocked it in the tech tree. No one else has it.
I bet the Chiss art reveals that they are not good at preemptive strikes.
It's a picture of a man crying. I guess that's another man. Anyway, you can cut that last part. So
he's looking. He's walking into the bedroom, and he's like, "Why would anyone put a wooden chair next to the bed? Couldn't you just sit on the bed? I wonder what the chair's for. Surely you could read in bed.
Thrawn.
Why would they
Thrawn,
need
stop.
an elaborate? Why would they need an elaborately wrought chair next to the bed?
Oh my god.
It was a chair.
Yeah, I know what it was. So yeah, in the past, Thrawn is used by some other alien species when the Leo AI are trying to like surrender after they get their ass kicked by Thrawn in the past. They're trying to use the Chiss to attack the Leo EOI for them. And Thrawn is like, I've been used. I suck at politics. I will vow.
Also a little bit racist.
Yeah.
This is the battle where he admits he doesn't see them as people. He just sees them as collections of art.
I mean, what's the difference?
He's a fucking British archaeologist.
I don't see what the difference is here.
Art is personhood.
Yeah. You're preserved forever in your statues and your shit.
Yeah. We should make statues and your podcasts, right?
Yes. And go read our blog, blog.wordsaboutbook, books.ninja.
Books.
Yeah,
you got to know.
And then, if you see any ads on there that you really like,
click them 5 or 6 times.
Anyway, in the present day, the Leo EOI, EIEIO, they're like, Thrawn, we don't want you to continue your investigation, so we're gonna
cease your investigations.
We're gonna
Thrawn,
put you on Arlani's ship as her second in command. We're taking you off the Spring Hawk, and you're gonna go to the Leo EOI. Or no, you're gonna go to this other place first, and then when they attack you with Leo EOI ships, they just go to the Leo EOI homeworld anyway. It was a trap, and the Nicardoon were there, and Thrawn can spot them. And then they figured out that the Leo EOI are allies to the Nicardoon.
Oh my god.
So now we need to get more information again. Hey, Theala, how would you feel about being my hostage?
Did we ever talk about why Theala's even there?
Yeah, she's supposed to observe Thrawn and...
Right, but that's not the job she's doing. She's actually supposed to be the mother to the Force child.
Yeah, she's her caregiver.
Which is a whole subplot.
Yeah, I just kind of skipped
of her
over
bonding
that,
with this...
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll skip it for the sake of this, but like there's a whole subplot where like that's like there's the bonding between the former Skywalker, the current Skywalker, and how these are both women who were like chewed up and spit out by the military, and she's
and now
like
she's a myth.
She actually bonds with this girl, and she's actually going to try to take care of her. And then even the Arlani winds up bonding with this girl, and she's not treated like just a disposable navigation component. She's actually treated like a person for the first time. And also the little girl likes to draw, and I am ashamed to admit it took me way too long to figure out that was going to be relevant in this story about the alien who analyzes art.
Oh yeah, because he analyzes her. She's like, you want to be a pilot, I'm going to teach you to fly. And he does.
Yeah, and she's like, how do you know that? And yeah, so the whole time I'm thinking, like, how does Thrawn wind up like getting kicked out of the Ascendency? Like, how does Thrawn wind up in all this trouble with them and everything? And then it's like when he tells the 8-year-old girl, like, you're gonna be the pilot, go hang out next to the fucking droid army of the Separatists and wait for my signal to come pick me up and save my life. And I'm like, oh, this is why he gets kicked out. Because that's the most irresponsible thing I've ever seen anyone do in a Star Wars book, and that's saying something.
Yeah, the space monks that are like, you gotta kill your dad, the bad guy. He's not your dad. Just kill him and don't talk to him, please. Do not talk to him.
Yeah, look. Well, the thing is, Luke, in this life, the only thing you truly own is your own karma. And I just thought, knowing he was your dad makes it worse. So I wanted to spare you that. I did it for your karma, Luke.
Yeah.
Think about that.
So go kill your dad.
From a certain point of view, go kill your dad.
So, yeah, Thrawn goes to a planet with Theala as his hostage and wearing weird hostage makeup, and it's a whole thing where he's like, if they don't know this about our culture, which is something I literally just made up because it's not something we do, maybe it will throw them off their game and make them reconsider or whatever. Doesn't do that. Anyway, then...
Well, and she's a hostage in the sense of, like, just so you know, she's a hostage in the sense of, like, how noble families used to take hostages to ensure
I know.
people kept their promises. Yeah, I know you know, but I don't know if the listener knows because they only have what you said to go
Well,
by.
you should just know that's what I'm saying, then. That's kind of on you. Yeah.
So he's saying she's a family hostage.
Yeah. So...
And he has her wear weird cheek prosthetics.
Really, really weird and, like, thick makeup that's... I think it's white.
I don't remember if it's white.
I feel called out.
I remember that it's blocky and bulky and uncomfortable, and then later on you find out there's a reason for that.
Boy, is there a fucking reason for that.
It's plans within plans. The first step in evading a trap is putting on a bunch of cheek makeup and walking into the trap.
Oh my god.
The first step, I will say, Thrawn beats oh god, why am I blanking? Thrawn beats Leto Atreides, right? Because Thrawn's first step to a trap is also walking into it, but before he walks into it, he also grabs a bunch of guns and straps biological weapons to his face. Spoiler, I guess, for when the cheek explodes.
Yeah. Let's see. What do they even find on this world when they're undercover? I don't remember what they find because I remember the next...
Oh, he has a meeting. He has a meeting with the Benevolent Yiv.
Oh, that's right. And then Q Lorry tries to get them captured, but Thrawn was somewhere else.
You keep saying Q Lorry, and I keep thinking Hugh Laurie.
He would be a great Thrawn.
He would actually be a pretty great Thrawn. He'd also be a good Q Lorry. He's a talented actor.
I don't know, comedy, the Q Lorry and his voice made me want to punch him and stuff him in a locker just every single time.
What did he sound like? You can't say these things.
No, he sounds like someone you want to punch and stuff in a locker. But...
Oh boy, Thrawn.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, he sounds like Ernest Cline almost.
That's mean.
It was meant to be.
I think you're making fun of my impression of him.
Yeah, I am.
I feel bad about the Ernest Cline episodes sometimes.
I don't.
I mean, not enough to take him down, but...
Yeah, no. Hey, if he wants to write Ready Player Zero, we'll be here to give an honest critique of... Oh boy, please don't. I don't want to put myself through that.
Right.
Hey, we said he wrote his best book ever last year.
We did. That was a nice thing to say. That was it was a nice thing to say. Trending in the right direction. Much like a man falling out of a plane sometimes hits a thermal and goes up a little bit.
Oh god. Okay, yeah, that's right. So Thrawn goes undercover as like an art appraiser and he meets Yiv. And then Yiv is like, capture that man. And then they don't capture him. And then he comes back and he's like, all right, I've analyzed the pattern, and we're like completely surrounded by people who have either been subjugated or allied to the Nicardoon. That's a problem. So I propose we just kind of wildly fly out there and see if there's anyone who can oppose the Nicardoon or who want to. I think that there's no chance of this. Like, this might just be a wild goose chase, but you guys all hate me, right? Like, you're gonna rubber stamp this so that I'll get off your fucking back. So let's do
Well,
it.
I think he has a thought that there's something driving this, that there's some new presence that has upset the balance of power.
The Grisk.
But also,
Or the Separatists.
yeah, there's a couple of people.
So that's where we get into that book that I didn't read, but you read. He takes Cheery.
Yeah, Cheery.
Yeah, he takes Cheery. Oh, also, in the past, Thrawn learns that something happened to like their son way back in the day, and living on the surface of their home planet is a nightmare. So they just keep a few like million people up there and circulate them in and out to make it look like it's a thriving metropolis, but everyone has either moved underground or to a different planet.
Do you ever have that? Like I finally understood that moment in the. Now this is a bonus episode, so people might not necessarily know, but that moment in Freerin where the demon's like, "Why would you spend all your time pretending to look like something that's such a stupid thing to do?" And she's like, "Yeah, but it lets me kill you." So the Chiss are really like burning a lot of resources creating this diversion that's going to work precisely once.
Yeah. Hopefully when the Grisk come a knocking, they'll
go on
fail and die, I guess.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
But no, I think he's out there looking for like what.
When the Grisk come a knocking, we'll be cock blocking.
You got there.
Yeah, I got there eventually.
Much like Thrawn arrives at Mokivj.
Yeah. And we get that exchange where he's like,
hey,
you can just call me Thrawn. Yeah, but I feel more comfortable calling you my Thrawn Naruto. No, it's me Thrawn Naruto. That's what I said, my Thrawn Naruto. And they go back and forth, and it's Anakin that he's talking to. Also, I assume he talked to Padme, who calls herself Duja.
Yeah, he does talk to Padme.
And then they go
wait.
Or is that her...
I don't...
The person who goes down there and dies, and then Padme follows.
It might be the person who goes down there and dies, because I think Padme got captured by the Separatists.
Okay. Well, then I thought that Padme went under a code name. Whatever.
I have no idea.
She was really rude.
I don't remember.
And I didn't read it. So
she was very rude.
They had a whole other adventure, and if I recall from that episode that you talked about, you said that like the whole past with Padme it doesn't have any bearing on the plot, so we just kind of yada through it.
Yeah, so. It really doesn't. I mean, it's
and it's cut out from this book. So
the one thing Timothy Zahn seems determined to do that I don't know if I'm super into is the flashback. Like, he seems very determined to have two stories happening at different points in time that complement each other. And, like, it's cute once. It is starting to wear thin on me. I rated this book...
He didn't have that in the book that you didn't read.
Yeah.
He just had two different stories. He had the Eli Vanto story with the Chiss, and he had the Thrawn story, and occasionally they kind of crossed into one.
Yeah, I don't hate it. But
it does drag the pacing down.
Well, in this one, it's like, did we need it?
Not really.
I mean, I don't know how else
you could save some of those as like the very beginning. Like, here's Thrawn going through the Chiss Academy or whatever.
Yeah, it almost just seems like they could have been early chapters in the book, and then there's like a part 2 to the book.
Yeah. I think that would have worked a lot better.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I think sometimes it's just trying to get a little too fancy for its own good. But
yeah, you're a Star Wars book, okay?
Well,
Stay in your lane.
I don't know. I'm not a
Somehow Thrawn returned. That's how we're doing the Legends version of the second Thrawn trilogy that you're gonna write.
I'm
Tim.
never a fan of stopping the action dead for a flashback.
Yeah, I would agree.
It has to be a really, really good flashback for me.
We got
to care
after
about
John
that.
Bierce for that.
Yeah. It's tough to do, right? There are flashbacks that are interesting enough to justify it, but I think when you set the precedent or like the flow of your book as every other chapter is going to be, and it's not necessarily every other chapter in this, but it's pretty regular. Like every couple chapters, there's a flashback chapter. It's like, not all of these were necessary. And some of them could be cut, but in order to cut them and preserve the sort of flow and pacing of your book, you would have to not interweave them the way you did.
Oh, you're right. Duja is the one who is killed, and Padme goes after her.
Yeah, see, I know stuff.
So it's okay if she's a bit of a jerk because she pays for her sins.
She was rude to Thrawn, and now she must
and
die.
she had to die. So Thrawn comes back some unknown amount of time later, and he's got a motherfucking shield, Ben. This is technology they don't have in the Ascendancy or in anywhere in this space. They've got like a polarized electrostatic hole that can maybe deflect some lasers, kind of.
Yeah.
But this is a shield. It doesn't care about your laser bullshit. So then he's like, we're going to use this, but we got to use it soon because I think that there are others out there who probably have this technology and want to harm us. I'm not saying it's the Grisk, but it's the Grisk, who Thrawn would have probably run into, right? Or no, maybe he didn't run into them in the past version of...
No, they were They were not there.
They were in the future version or the current version.
Yeah, because I really don't know much about them. I think that's mostly in the book you are the only one who read.
So we are going to deal with the Nick Ardoon threat. I need you politicians who hate me, to give me 2 whole ships, and I will completely win the day. Effortlessly. I will slap Yiv the Benevolent right across his fucking scrotum face. I don't know he has a scrotum face, but...
No deal.
Well, shit. Okay, bye.
Yep. Can't... I forget why they let Thrawn go.
Because they're hoping that he's going to get himself killed.
Or what if he doesn't? What if he just wins himself some more glory?
Damn, it would suck if we came out of this battle on top because of a guy we didn't like who... Like, we're risking nothing, right? Like, we understand that. Like, we win either way.
We're politicians.
I'm going to cry about this later, though.
We don't understand shit.
I am going to write a strongly worded letter. No, maybe not strongly. I'm going to write a letter, and then I'm going to go on my book tour.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I will not step down, because as soon as Grand Admiral Thrawn becomes just a little less popular, his party is going to want to work with us again, maybe.
Yeah. 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 Oh, Jesus Christ. You know, like, that's the thing I don't get about... fuck. I don't get that about, like, the Republicans. They don't know what to do when they're in charge. Like, they're...
Give themselves more power.
They're so used to being the underdogs, though, that they're like, they still try to be the underdogs. They still try to be like, and the establishment is keeping us down. I control everything, but the establishment is coming.
Oh, they do that in my state too. Yeah. And it's like, you guys have been in charge of both houses of the state, like, legislature for my lifetime, essentially.
And when the Democrats are honestly down, they can't take that tone. They can't be like, they're coming to wipe us out. It's like, but they are, though, right? Like...
Well, don't worry. I'm sure old Chucky is going to write a letter.
They build a gulag in El Salvador. Like, you know this, right? Like, you can curse now, Chuck.
No. That would be uncouth. I think we all just need to reach into our closet and pull out our red hat and pretend like we were part of it the whole time. So Thrawn sends Cheery and Theala, and by the way, Theala is like, Thrawn, now we have this one-on-one time. I just want to say that, like, you changed my life. And Thrawn was like, yeah, I got demoted that day.
Thrawn's basically like, neat. Okay, can you do this thing?
And then she takes these trials and becomes a family member.
The trials are really dumb.
They're very dumb.
But she does get to...
And the Patriarch...
The Patriarch is
like,
a weird Yoda figure.
I love me some Thrawn. Thrawn is the fucking best. You need to look after him.
Thrawn is either going to save the Chiss or destroy the Chiss. And I figure it this way, as the Patriarch of a noble family. If he saves the Chiss, I get all the credit. If he destroys the Chiss, no one's going to be around to know it's my fault.
Yeah.
That
is why we voted for this guy to be president for life.
Hey, that's how a politician sees the world.
Chucky Schumer is going to save us, though.
He doesn't care, though, because when he dies, everything stops. Nothing else happens in history.
That's true. So, I was worried that my daughter was making noise, but that's just a stupid asshole cat. I'm going to go kick him in a little bit. But first, back to this thing where Cheery and Theala, they get captured. They go down to the planet of those guys who they stole a ship from, and they're like, hey, here's your ship back. We want to explain what our issue is. And then Lori leads them to Yiv. And Yiv is like, I took your message, which is like a, hey, join the Chiss, you're being blockaded. I took your message and I threw it on the ground. And then I sent another message just like, hey, I'm Thrawn, sorry.
I really enjoyed that Lonely Island reference.
Yeah, I'm a fucking genius. Anyway, I'm going to use you to get at Thrawn. And Thrawn hires Lori to go in a shuttle. And they go to these coordinates. He's like, oh, that's weird. These aren't the coordinates I was given. And he's like, oh, but those are the coordinates you gave me. It's like, no, you're obviously a fucking slimy little rat. But okay. That's fine. So they have their talk. And Yiv is like, I'm going to bring you on board. And I'm going to execute you. Or I can just shoot you now. And Thrawn's like, nah, bring me on board. This will be funny.
No, bring me on board. I think that would be better.
So then the Springhawk and the Aralani ship come in to save the day, Ben. And this was all a setup, you see, because the species down there that's being blockaded, they don't even realize they're being blockaded because they're fucking dumb, and
they're also they're not being blockaded.
They're kind of
this is what they do. This is the setup, right?
It's their thought lines, man.
Yeah, this is a species that, if you can believe this, is fiercely, stupidly democratic, to the point where they need to hear every argument, every reasonable argument before they make a decision. They must consider.
And nobody filibusters. Nobody just talks forever and ever and ever and drowns everyone out.
No, they genuinely value every opinion, which is stupid. Like, there are bad opinions. And
no, I think Lucky Charms really do cause autism.
You know, they sell just the marshmallows now.
Fuck yeah, they do.
My wife bought them and put them in, like, Raisin Bran.
Why are you bothering? Just eat them whole at that point. Oh my god.
Oh no, she put them in honeycomb.
Why?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
don't know.
I think your wife, she has that third sight. She's living in a wonderful
She's on a
world that I just can't comprehend.
She's on a spectrum,
Ben.
yeah. But anyway, no, what's going on with these people, right? They consider all thought lines. So there's a little bit of subterfuge, if I understand the situation correctly.
Yes.
Yiv the Benevolent is blockading not for the purpose of truly blockading these people, but for the purpose of setting a trap for Thrawn. He's trying to make sure that Thrawn can't get out or get more stuff in. And so when they come there, when Arlani comes there and like, you're being blockaded, they don't know that Yiv is going after Thrawn. So they see all these ships arrayed to catch Thrawn, and Arlani tells them it's a blockade, knowing full well it's not. And they it makes them doubt, even though Thrawn already set a seed of doubt, a secret seed of doubt.
Yeah, and then later on, she's like, "Hey, can you give humanitarian aid?" And they're like, "Okay, I guess."
Yeah, because one of her ships pretends to be disabled.
Yes.
And so she drags two innocent aliens in front of her ships who get blown away.
And that pisses them off enough to then launch their attack on the Nicardoon.
Yes. So they, again, did the thing they weren't supposed to do, where they orchestrated an attack on themselves.
No, they
provoke,
helped us out on their own free will, and
they provoked an attack
they
and
were
claimed self-defense.
innocent casualties of war, and we saved the day.
And it's funny because
I think also we should take some of your resources and maybe set up shop here. They don't do that, but maybe someday when Thrawn's in charge.
The commander of the ship that's pretending to be disabled, somebody literally asks him, "What do we do now? Should we rejoin the fight?" And he's like, "I'm pretty sure if we turn the ship back on now that we got a bunch of people killed to rescue our ship,
it would look really bad."
Yeah, I think we got to sit this one out, guys. And they're like, "Ah, dang, we'll get them next time." Yeah. And then so Yiv has taken Thalia or Theala, sorry.
And Thrawn is like, "Yeah,
and
I got you.
Cherry.
You have to either choose to. You've been out here too long talking with me. If you go back now, it'll look like you're running away from me. But if you come and get me, it looks like you're trying to avoid that battle over there. So your reputation is shit." And he's like, "Well, could just kill everyone and then tell my story later." And Thrawn's like, "Bet." That's what the kids say, right?
They used to.
And okay, fine, skibbity toilet. And so then Thalia and Cheery, they break their makeup off, and their makeup has poison gas underneath it, Ben.
It's a sleeping gas.
It's a sleeping gas, yeah. And that starts filling the bridge.
And then Thrawn...
Yiv starts trying to abuse a child. And then Thrawn, using his Republic shields, the laser fire on him does nothing. And also his ship is specifically shaped so that he can ram the nose into the bridge, breach it, and also it seals off the breach.
This is also foreshadowed by the fact that
Keylori keeps going, huh.
No,
that's weird.
It's foreshadowed. I don't know if you caught this early in the book. They talk about how Yiv's people have ships with insanely large viewports that they don't need. And it's like a power move somehow. And it's like, oh, it'd be real shame if somebody rammed a ship through your windshield.
And he does.
He does.
Checkmate, Yiv.
So he put an 8-year-old girl again. And I was kind of surprised because this whole time I thought Thrawn was going to get in trouble. And the other thing we mentioned it a little bit in one of the previous episodes, but these girls, these Skywalkers, are a secret. because
Yeah, they
everybody
are.
in the unknown regions relies on this guild of force sensitive navigators to get around. But the Chiss actually have their own force sensitives that they train and use, so they pretend to be dependent on the guild. But this is another secret advantage they have. They can conduct operations without the guild knowing. So not only is he risking an 8-year-old girl, she's also a top secret military asset.
Yeah.
And he like, I don't know. I was kind of like, it's one of those where I don't know if like Timothy Zahn like fully thought through the implications. I'm not sure if he has children. Like, I don't have children, but like, have you been around an 8-year-old?
Never.
Are you going to let them fly your ship through a military situation to pick you up? Are you going to let them do a sleeping gas attack? Like, what are the effects of sleeping gas on, like, enough sleeping gas to knock out an entire crew on an 8-year-old girl? I'm just wondering. Yeah.
Probably minimal. They're part of the superior Chiss race.
Yes.
They're not just artwork like every other race. They're real people.
She has a very high constitution score.
There you go.
She's gonna roll a save. Yeah, I thought he was gonna get in trouble for this, but
no.
This is the thing people have the least trouble with. So he rams the ship. He
gets Yiv, and then he murders a bunch of sleeping people. No witnesses. He did the
he says no.
He did the Chad Dingleton thing.
You'll have to subscribe to the Patreon and wait a bit to find out what he means by that. But yeah, he did the Chad Dingleton no witnesses. I don't know why I'm so surprised when I run D&D campaigns for you. Like, I'm surprised. Like, I literally wind up being surprised that I'm surprised. Because, like, since I've DM'd a lot, usually in campaigns, I'll play I'll try to play like a character that pretty much is going to go along with the story just to make it easier for the DM, because you know how it goes. Not that Chad Dingleton doesn't go along with the story. It's just it didn't occur to me to murder the prisoner. I guess I'm a little proud of myself for that.
Ben Ron said, "No witnesses."
Yeah,
it was justified homicide.
It was unpunished homicide. I don't know if it was justified.
I don't know. I don't know what the difference is.
That's true. I believe you. I'm getting that vibe. Yeah. You're a paladin with a very specific oath.
I need to protect this library.
No witnesses.
No witnesses.
It is still a weird story. Yeah. I hope people like this. I hope someone listens to that. Yeah. I hope somebody, I genuinely hope somebody listens to these, because it has pissed me off since the day that Chad Dingleton pulls out and then goes back in.
And it works.
And then it worked out exactly that way. Chad Dingleton pulls out and then goes back in for massive damage. All right. So Thrawn gets accolades. What happens? I forget how it ends.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he does. And then at the end, Key Lori is getting grilled. You're like, tell me what happened to Yiv the Benevolent. And you can call me Grisk Man. I don't remember my name, but he's a Grisk.
Stay tuned for the next exciting episode of Thrawn. Now, well, that's the book. Shall we rubric?
Let us rubric. blog. .words about books. .ninja. Are you ready, Ben?
I'm ready.
Content and ideas, Ben.
Let's say 4.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I don't think I can call it exceptionally original because it's Star Wars and we've done this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. Eight times.
Yeah,
Not including those other books we haven't read already. So
but I think he does a good job. I would say the reason it rises to the level of a 4, where other ones maybe haven't, is the chiss are much more fleshed out. All of the characters are pretty good. I don't think I had a huge problem with any one character. Nobody feels like a cardboard cutout cartoon like Sabaoth or indeed Thrawn from the previous ones. So I think
they really did our boy dirty with Sabaoth and
yeah, I think he brings in a lot of interesting new stuff. I like the ideas. I like the Chiss Society. I like the whole like unknown regions dynamics so much that I'm sad it's limited by being a Star Wars novel.
yeah. I'm sad that we will never see the finale of the whole the Grisk thing. Like, that's never happening. All right. Organization, Ben. I'm leaning towards a 3 because of all the flashbacks breaking up the pacing.
Yeah, I thought about that. I could totally see it. I'm gonna go with a 4. I didn't like the flashbacks that much, but they also didn't bother me that much. I was kind of just like, I wish this had been done a little differently, but it didn't slow me down. I actually read this book fairly quickly.
Okay. Word choice, Ben.
I'm going to give him a very generous 4.
That is very generous. Why would you give him a 4?
I like the
instead of a
3
3?
name thing.
That is very generous.
He did a thing with language that I liked. I like the 3 name thing.
I'm still going to give him a 3, Ben.
I think that's fine.
So, recommendation or no, personal preference.
5.
I was going to say I'm going with a 5. I actually really like this.
Yeah.
I wouldn't still be reading Thrawn if I didn't like Thrawn.
Yeah, no, I think I like it quite a bit. I'm surprised how much I like it. I didn't think it would be very good, but I honestly think if you're gonna engage with Star Wars, like so far, this is where I'd start.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that.
I'll tell you, for recommendation strength, I'm going to go into this with one caveat, okay? You have to be somebody who would read a Star Wars book.
Yeah.
In that case, I'm going to say 5.
Wow.
I think it stands on its own as a solid little sci-fi book.
I could agree with that.
It's not high art by any stretch of the
Thrawn. What would Thrawn get from this?
yeah, it's not high art by any stretch of the imagination, but it's solid. All the characters are good. It's paced well. And it captures like what I want from Star Wars without bringing in all of the junk. Like I don't think you also need to be super nerdy to get it. Like you don't need to know a lot of Star Wars lore to get it.
You don't need a degree in theoretical physics to truly get this.
Yeah. Though I think Timothy Zahn has one. So
Shit, dog.
keep that in mind. But yeah, with that, I think
That's 77 points for me.
Yeah, I think I'm at what? 30, 45, 85? I gave
That might be a wobby.
I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads.
Oh my god.
It's not my favorite thing I've read so far, but like I gotta tell you, there's maybe something that's affecting my rubric a little bit is like, you know, when you're evaluating something on a rubric, you kind of feel like you're grading it. And I feel like I want to reward improvement. Like, Jesus Christ, where we came from to where we are.
Yeah.
It's so much better. And that doesn't always happen. A lot of, especially with like an author who found a lot of success right off, not necessarily right off the bat. I know he'd written other stuff, but I think a lot of the bad books are still pretty well received. I think they managed to get republished as Legends when a lot of them did not. And so I think, yeah, it's nice to see. I like it. I like where Thrawn is. I hope.
Yeah, where is the Legends republishing of The Wedding of Princess Leia? Where is that, Disney?
In the Disney vault.
In the Disney vault.
Next to Song of the South. Was that you that sent me the meme that Disney was releasing Song of the South with just one change for Gen Z, and that the song would now be Skibbity Doodah?
No, but
I don't know.
It's kind of.
I don't know who said that to me. Yeah, but yeah, that's where I'm at. I gave a book a 5. Sue me.
I will.
I'll see you in court.
Goddamn right you will.
But because I'm not you, I'm going to thank the patrons in the moment, as they deserve.
Well, you're splitting this into 2 parts, so you gotta thank them both in the moment and in the edit.
I will thank them here and now, and I will tell you, this may be duplicated for the Thrawn episodes. But
wow,
I am going to thank you from the bottom of my heart once per book. As is our contractual agreement. So, I would like to thank, first off, Keegan, because I don't have to remember a project. Hello. Isekai Sensei Sama of the That Time I Got Reincarnated in the Same World as an Anime Podcaster podcast. For some reason, I associate him with Star Wars Rebels. I don't know if he told me he watched it or something, but like for some reason, I feel like he's the guy. He's the Star Wars Rebels guy. You know, this could 100% be like that. Like somebody said something to me in a break room once, and I'm like, you're that guy. That thing that you're always associated with now. But yeah, Star Wars Rebels, that's your custom shout out. And then there is Jamie, the gravy man of the If You Want the Gravy blog. I have seen photos of him at the what do they call it, table read for his upcoming play that's being produced. That's crazy. It's very surreal. And then we have John Bierce, an actual author who I criticized for flashbacks. I'm sorry that was mentioned in this episode. Sorry. But he is the author of The Rack, The Mage Errant, and More Gods Than Stars. And Spooky Shy with the Y on TikTok.
Complete shout out. We Thrawned the shit out of them.